Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pre-Match Booty. We've got an interesting guest tonight that we haven't seen this season,
Hey,
but obviously that's for other reasons. We've got Wanga Dinga as well in the house. But Nick, how you doing, man? Long
what's
time,
up, guys? Yeah,
long
it's
time no
it's been
see, man.
it's been a while. It's been a minute, but good to be back. The Premier League has been interesting so far, so I've been following closely. But good to be back and on the show to chat to you guys.
And Wanga, how you doing? How you doing? You good?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Obviously, the Premier League still on top. Not too happy that we had to have a break. But it is what it is. Obviously, circumstances. But yeah, I feel some teams are better off than others. But yeah, it is what it is.
Listen to this man. But guys, I want Nick to tell you guys where he has been. Nick, where have you been? I can see you wearing your tux, uh, golfer or jersey or whatever you
Yeah,
may call it.
yeah, man. I don't really want to talk about it. It's a touchy subject. The semi-finals are on at the moment, so yeah, we unfortunately didn't have the campaign that we sort of wanted to have. But yeah, it was a good experience playing in front of crowds at the Varsity Cup. You know, we averaged about 7,000 people at our games. Had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I like to actually thinking about coming on to Goal Lounge today. I was thinking about how I could compare the campaign for the viewers. It was very similar to Arsenal. Sorry, Wonga. Arsenal of last season. You know, winning the type of games that they won last year and not doing it against the teams that they were expected to do it against. And yeah, that was the story of our season. And unfortunately, we came short. I thought we had all the tools to at least finish in the top four and compete for the final. But yeah, we move on and we soldier on, and next year's another year. So we got a nice young group of players, and yeah, good luck to the teams in the semi-finals now, and let's see what we can do next year.
Okay, no, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but as you said, you go through the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows,
Yeah.
and it's the first time you're back on the show since obviously Varsity Cup. So we've got something just to share with the viewers from Varsity Cup. If you guys haven't seen this video, you're about to be wowed about the energy and the passion of Coach Nick when he's on the
No.
when he's at the games, guys. Just it's just the
That,
8 second video, guys. It's just the 8 second video
it's
of
the biggest fail. The biggest fail
of
there.
yeah, I think
There was no moisture there. Hey, I had grazes on my knees. Um, yeah, that was the derby win. Specifically against TUT. You know that we've never beaten them in the group stages, and we
yeah.
managed to do it there in very dramatic fashion. Um, there's a lot of history between the two teams, a lot of bad blood. So I thought I needed to get one up on the coach, but you know, football works that way. He has the last laugh. We get knocked out, and I think he's in a final. I think they just won their semi. So, yeah,
I like it.
but
I like it.
it's the like I said to you, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. But yeah, I chose this career, and I have to deal with it, take it on the chin, and move on.
Nah, no, don't worry, don't
Yeah.
worry. Better luck next season, coach. Hopefully, you can have the fortunes of Arsenal's start of the season in your
Yeah,
Varsity Cup campaign next season, man.
hundred
Um,
percent, 100%.
That means you're going to win it.
Hey, take it easy, Wonga.
Oh, Wanga. Wow, man. Wow. Wanga, you're already predicting a win for your beloved Gunners. Wow. Let's see actually what happens this season. You're obviously preempting a lot. But I think we're gonna obviously just start with the Champions League fixtures that went on this week. Because we didn't have Premier League football this past weekend, but we'll touch on that as well when we to Premier League. Um, our man Claudio was at the Sporting versus Spurs game. He's a Benfica. I think his family is a Benfica fans, but he was screaming loudly for the sporting team when they were playing in Spurs. They won 2-0. Wonga, let me go to you if you've got any thoughts about this game in particular. I know obviously it was your rivals playing in this game. So what do you have anything to share about this?
Now, look, I mean, I saw the highlights of the game. I expected Spurs to at least do something against against Sporting, but it seems that um, it's that typical Spurs thing. But I think if Spurs is looking at this at their group and the result, I think Sporting is the team that you can accept to lose to, because I think the other teams there that they've got in the group, there's Marseille, there's Frankfurt, Marseille and Frankfurt, the other two, and I think
It's a mild group. It's a very mild group.
it is a mild group. No disrespect to the teams, but I mean, if you look at the other, compare them to the other groups, I think Spurs, then if you're going to accept a loss, it would be against those two teams. But on the day, it's not like Sporting were fortunate. There were many opportunities that they had to score. I think 3 other times the Reese came to the rescue. Open opportunities. I think the one opportunity they worked where Lloris saved at close range could have been one of the goals of the tournament, looking at the build-up and how many players they got past to get to the goal. But and I mean, if you look at Spurs' point of view, it's just too easy. It's just way too easy. And I mean, if they play like that against the other teams, I think they can get punished. Don't get me wrong; those Marseille and Frankfurt can score goals. But again, Sporting is on a good run in their league as well. So I think Spurs. I think they should have known that it wasn't going to be an easy one, but it didn't look like. I mean, geez, you hear Harry Kane son. I would expect that Richarlison, especially where he's been playing, I would expect them to at least get a goal against Sporting. But it's Tottenham, man. It's Tottenham. Don't know what to expect.
Nick, do you think? In the past, I know that Antonio Conte hasn't really done well in the Champions League in the past. Do you think that was one of the factors at play?
If I'm honest with you, I don't think so. I personally think I think Spurs missed a trick when they didn't sign Eriksen. If I'm honest with you, I think they lack a little bit of creativity in that midfield.
Yep.
At times, you find, when it's games like this, you find Harry Kane dropping into areas where you don't really want Harry Kane to come into. I know he's very capable of dropping in and spinning out and spraying the balls for the likes of Son, who's not in great form at the moment. But I think they missed a trick with a signing of a proper number 10 who can really do the business for them. Looking at it, it's quite a defensive sort of midfield that they've got with Bentancur and Højbjerg playing the natural 3-4-3, but sometimes you need to break that line, and if it's an Eriksen type, Eriksen-esque player, he's the type of player to drop in between those lines, between a Harry Kane and say a Højbjerg to spray those passes for a Richarlison and a Son. So as much as we say they had a great window, they haven't really been great this season, guys. They've got the points on the board, but just listening to a few fan forums, and I think they're a little bit thin in that midfield, if I'm very honest with you. I think they look very solid at the back, but they look very, very strong going forward as well. Son not in great form, but that middle area of the field looks to be a little bit of a concern, in my opinion, for them. So it'll be interesting to see. I do think they should get out the group, but that should be a game that they're winning. If they want to get to the latter stages of the tournament, you want to try and win the games as quickly as possible. Try get the points on the board and get to a position where you can rotate, just before the World Cup, so your players aren't playing as many games. They go to the World Cup, they're going to be playing a lot, so you want to try and manage their load. And I think they've missed out on a vital 3 points there. So I think they will get out. I think Conte will right the wrong of not doing so well. And let's see. But I think they'll have to invest in January again if they really want to kick on.
No, I typically
Yeah, I
agree.
agree
They
with
do
you.
like some creativity in that midfield. Like who's going to pass the ball to the front three? You know, it's in
Yeah.
Hoiberg and Bentaker. Not really amazing going forward. But like in Ericsson, I'm trying to even think of who they've got on the options on the bench. You know, I think Busuma
But,
is probably is better box to box than the other two
yeah.
guys. So I think maybe they should rather play him with one of them.
But he's not a Fernandez. He's not
Yeah,
a Erdegaard.
he's
He's not
he's just
a
better than he's just
He's
better
not a
than those
Smith
other
Rowe.
two
yeah,
options.
yeah. He's not a Smith Rowe. He's not a
He's
at
not a Smith
City, a
Rowe. What?
Bernardo. Yeah, but you know what I mean. No, no,
Oh,
no. But in terms of
I know.
he's not a number out and
He's
out
not
number
tip
10.
10.
That's
He's
gonna
not number 10.
yeah.
He's not number 10. They should have had a player who can play number 10 or who can play who's an 8 between an 8 and a 10 type
Yeah,
of
an eight
player.
and a half or something.
You're
Yeah.
right. Christian
It's
Eriksen
funny
would have been the
because
right player.
And
I
I
was
think that was the
talking.
viable option for them because I think he would have naturally gone home. He would have gone there. He would have played Champions League football, and obviously, for some or other reason, maybe Man United gave him a better offer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, man, money talks. You should know in the northeast. But the other game that happened on Tuesday as well was Liverpool versus Ajax. 2-1 victory for Liverpool. They've been obviously struggling this season. You know, they didn't start the season quite well in the Premier League, and then they lost 4-1 in Naples. Let me go to you, Nick, on this one. You know, just in terms of Liverpool as a team, what do you think of their performance and obviously this particular performance where they needed to win, just to kind of get some that winning feeling back into the team?
Yeah, I'm very bitter, if I'm honest with you, about Liverpool.
Because of
Simply
because of
because we were
because how
robbed.
they
We were
yeah, because
robbed.
you should have gotten a
No, we were
draw.
robbed.
You
No,
were.
not even
What?
a draw. We had a goal that was disallowed there that was onside. I can share the images with you guys. It's clear. So
Yes,
you
yeah,
go
yeah,
2
yeah.
0 up away at Anfield. Isak devastating those guys.
Yeah.
Maybe we win the game 2-1 but anyway, it is. I'm waiting for that argument with Claudio. I'm sure he was saying,
Is that the
we were
same match?
time
Sorry, Nick.
wasting.
Is that the same match with the Van Dijk tackle? Is that the same one? No, it's not.
No,
I
no,
don't
that's not
think so.
that,
No,
that's
no,
not
no, it
that's
wasn't.
not no, it's
But
not that match.
they added 5 minutes. So my question, sorry, I'm changing the subject
Oh
slightly,
yes,
but you add 5 minutes on for 45 minutes, but then you
I
add
remember.
3 minutes on for 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
can you weigh that up? I don't understand how that works. You find
Hmm.
5 minutes in 45, and then you found more than 50% of that. You understand what I mean? More than 50%
No, I
of the time you
100%.
added on in that added on time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it didn't make sense. But anyway, Liverpool do get the VAR decisions. Maybe they're getting a little
Bruh.
bit of a wake up call in recent weeks with regards to, Newcastle. Obviously, I'm bitter, but shouldn't be coming to Anfield and potentially getting a result. Especially if you want to call them title contenders. I do think they're an aging squad. I also think they've also missed a trick in terms of signing a top quality midfielder or two.
Yeah.
Yes, they have their defensive frailties, but I do think they will sort it out. Klopp tends to go through these patches where they question, are they stable enough? And Virgil van Dijk looks shaky, but he will get it right. I think he looks better when he plays plays with Matip. But I do think they are going to struggle if they want to compete at the top end of all competitions with that midfield because they don't have the strength and depth. Nunez is also not fired yet. I'm sure he will come right. He does somehow look like the Uruguayan Andy Carroll, but I don't know. I think the result
Hey,
is more
man.
of the
Okay.
result is more of a relief for Klopp, especially because now he avoids playing that game against Chelsea on
True.
Saturday,
Weekend, yeah.
which could have been a shaky one.
Yeah.
So I think he
I
just
agree.
needed the 3 points. I didn't watch a game, but I saw Kudus scored a really good goal for Ajax.
Yeah, he did.
And they scored towards the end. So, sometimes when you're in this bad run, you need to just get the win and get the confidence back, and the performances will come. But they definitely haven't been at their best.
No,
Yeah, and
definitely.
I think
Wonga, or did you watch the game, or do you have
yeah.
something to say
I
about
saw
Liverpool?
part of it. I saw the two first goals there. But yeah, on the street, Liverpool all over them. Goal attempts they had more, way more than than
Thanks.
Ajax. And Ajax only had, I mean, Ajax had a mere what? They had three to 24. That's how you can comparing it. Liverpool having 10 shots on target, Ajax having one shot on target. And I think that's the thing for Liverpool is that even you can say, I mean, before last year, you could question whether they're going to concede, but now you can almost, be sure that you can get a goal. And I mean,
They've
if
they've
we the
they've
fans watching,
they've conceded first in, I think it was 9 games in a row.
yeah,
But obviously this is the first game that they didn't concede first. But every other game before that, I think going back to last season, they were conceding first, which is not the way to obviously be playing a game. If you already 1-0 down, it already kind of changes your mindset, and you can get exposed.
yeah. And I think like with them, it's with them, it's just I think now the mentality that other teams come there with. I think with like if you look at an Arsenal, not just to say that they're on top, but I think it's a good example because last season, losing to Brentford and starting another two games losing, every team coming there, you'd know that. and as a fan, you're sitting there, that hey, you guys can concede today. Imagine what the manager's telling them in the change room. He's telling them, no, this team you can definitely, yes, they to the top 5, we can get points off here, and it just makes the season a bit more tough for them. And I think this season they've got a little bit more respect to their name. You've got to be careful now with the way Jesus is playing. And I think with the Liverpool, I think that's they need to be careful they don't drop all the way there because I'm pretty sure teams are going out there now and they're saying, hey, we can get a point. I think Chelsea would have liked to play Liverpool right now.
Graham Potter,
And I
first
think the
game
same
at
sort of
home.
mentality that
Yeah.
Newcastle went there with, when they came to Newcastle, is that, what, we can get something off these guys. And the truth is they go in there and they get it. So I think Liverpool is in that stage and it's going to be, I think it's not going to be easy to get out of it. It's not going to be easy.
No, definitely. That's certainly true, Wonga. And then the other game at the Etihad, I watched this game last night. Man City coming back from behind again. Erling Haaland not having many touches in the game and scoring as Guardiola is saying it. He says it reminded him of watching Johan Cruyff scoring goals at the Nou Camp. The way he just obviously put his foot out, he even compared it to Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Getting your foot into positions that other players will probably not get into. Wonga, I don't know if you watched this game.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think I think they played well. They started a different back line. You saw Ake playing central back. I think they were playing with the back 3. And I think Dortmund, they tried their best, but then I think Man City again going a goal down. You can't write them off. And I think, but with regards to the goal, I think I think it's more of a Zlatan type goal instead of a Cruyff. But look, this is
this guy. If you watch Cruyff play, you haven't watched him, so how would you know? But okay, continue.
No, I've seen some of the goals that Cruyff did have scored. I see some of I'm not. Yeah, I want to watch it fully, but maybe I could be wrong, but I think from what I've seen, if I compare the two, I'm thinking of Zlatan. He's the one with all these scissors and up in the air and awkward. He's still got Zlatan wouldn't have even jumped off the floor. He wouldn't have even jumped because of his flexibility. He would have just put his foot up there and slap it in. He would have been the other foot still on the floor. He wouldn't have had to even jump.
But more importantly, Wonga, do you think like Man City having to come back from behind in this game and also other games where they had to come back from behind against Villa, to draw that game, and then they against Palace, do you think this is a recurring theme where they're kind of susceptible at the back?
Yeah, definitely. Last season, this is what I think. You guys will tell me if I'm wrong, but I remember Liverpool and Man City. I'm just looking at the league. In the sense there was a point in time where we had the least, they conceded the least. I think they were, I don't want to lie, they were halfway to the season and they could have conceded less than 5 goals, the two of them. Last year was at Man City. I can't remember which way around it was, but definitely it's a drop from that performance last year. And again, if you can score the first goal against a team and then defend, I mean, then you've won the game. You know, I don't think. Yes, they're happy. Klopp is happy. Not Klopp. Pep is happy that yes, they've won the games, but yes, they're gonna definitely looking at that one goal that Dortmund got there as a problem, because it's a recurring theme throughout, and if it continues, it can stuff them up if they're wanting to win things. That's for sure. Like FA Cup, you're out, boy. You're out if you're losing and conceding. Out, gone.
No, definitely. Nick, what do you think? Do you think it's something for Pep to be worried about? I know, obviously, the centre-back partnership that he used in this game wasn't the regulars. He used Akanji and Ake as a partnership, which is obviously not the first choice. So do you think it's something that he should be worrying about? Or
I watched them, obviously. I watched them mostly against Newcastle. I think in the 3rd or 4th game, Newcastle arguably should have been 4-1 up. We had a penalty shot that wasn't VAR typically. But
actually, Dan, man, you've been off the show and you've been actually getting the wrong side of decisions. Actually, if I think about it.
So it's, bro, I've got, honestly, I'll send it to you guys. There's like a list of things, and you can actually see the images. It's terrible, but anyway, I do think there might be a conspiracy to ensure that the top 6 cartel isn't broken, but it's fine. We'll come anyway. We'll just buy our way in if we need to. No, I was always worried at 3-1, with City, because I think Pep's got this mindset where, no matter if they're 2 or 3 down, they've always got an opportunity to get back in the game. And I was getting messages. We were 3-1 up there against City. We were 1-0 down, then we came back 3-1. And I was like, guys, there's 25 minutes here. And true as Bob, City scored 2 quick ones. Bah! And before you know it, they can hurt you. So I do think it's a concern, because the longer they stay in the Champions League, the further they go against better teams, you will get exposed. So he will need to sort out those defensive frailties. And to be honest with you, Liverpool and Man City haven't looked great at the back. When you're playing against well-coached teams, you will get found out if that's not rectified and fixed. Maybe it's the partnership between a Rodri and the 2 centre backs, or maybe that is the issue, or maybe they're a little bit too open. At times they look very open, and they look very. They look very exposed for the transition the other way. So, sometimes, who am I to say that Pep is doing the wrong thing? But sometimes he might need to be a little bit more conservative. Very similar to my discussions with you guys about Bielsa. Bielsa at times he doesn't have those players that Pep has, but he needed to be more conservative at times. You can still play the brand of football that you want, but maybe it's when you overlap in with one fullback, maybe it means that you just leave one stain a little bit. You remain with 3 instead of leaving it exposed with 2, and then there's the 2v2 or the 3v3. Always a risk for them. So I think you'll find the balance. He's the experienced one, and City. I don't see anyone stopping City at this rate, specifically because of the goals that they're going to score and the amount of goals. I think all the teams need to settle in. I think it's been a sort of a start to the season. There's been a lot of games, but now the Queen passing, there's been a delay in fixtures. Some games are going ahead, some aren't. And the international break is next week, so I think the true reflection will be maybe towards the end of October, middle of November, and when the break comes, we'll see, because there's a lot of football to be played until then.
No, couldn't agree more. And the last English Premiership team that is in the Champions League, it's the team with a new manager. I think we just need to touch on the fact that Graham Potter's first match in the Champions League, a 1-1 draw against RB Salzburg. So, Nick, let me go to you. What do you think of this? Just firstly, the sacking of Tuchel, and then obviously them picking Graham Potter.
Yeah, I scratch my head with Chelsea at times, but there's two sides to this. I do think they get rid of managers far too easily, but that is Chelsea over the last 10, 15 years. From what I've read is that Todd Bowley and Tuchel didn't make a concerted effort to try and build a relationship with the new owner, because it looks like he's very hands-on. He got rid of everyone behind the scenes, and he wanted to, get his hands dirty, which is his right to do. He's the owner. But I also thought that Tuchel was blaming far too many internal and external factors besides himself. When you have one bad result, 2, 3, 4, and then you're still complaining about your players not doing specifically what you want them to do, or they're not doing specifically what is required. There should be a moment when I put my hands up as a coach and say, listen, we weren't good enough today. Maybe I haven't got my point across proper enough. Because the best managers in the world also just accept the criticism and accept that they weren't good enough, because it's not just the players. My team didn't perform to the expectation of the university this year, and I'm very disappointed with some of the performances that the players put in, but I also have to look at myself. Maybe I didn't do something right, and it takes a real man to be able to be honest with yourself, to say that. And I don't know if you guys agree with me, but Tuchel's press conferences, I could have told you what he was going to say before he even said them. Very negative, very I don't know. I just got a bad vibe of him, and I think there was something wrong at the club for a long time. And I think that negativity didn't sit well with the new owner, and he walked the plank essentially. He was like, my man, you're going to carry on this way, you walk into your own death. They've obviously wanted a new exciting manager, and good luck to Graham Potter.
Wonga, what do you think? Do you agree with Nick's assertions there that there was a lot wrong at Chelsea leading up to this, or do you think it's just the new owner trying to flex his muscles and saying, out with anything Roman Abramovich, and I just want to build my new thing now?
100%. I agree with Nick. It's remember, I think the week before he got sacked, I did ask the question here, and I said, guys, look at Tuchel's performances, and you compare it to Lampard's run of form. Is it not a similar effect in terms of Lampard was doing well in the Champions League? I think he took them all the way to the semis, in fact, but in the league he was doing poorly. You could see there's just a poor run form, like loss after loss, and then he got a sack. Out of we thought maybe they'd keep him, but they were worried about that the top 4 spot. And then I did ask and say, look, I mean, he's doing the same thing literally right now. You can start poorly like this, but it's even worse because now we don't know how it's going to go into the Champions League. And yeah, then the fall we said together and we agreed that they don't fire him because he's a manager with experience, which makes sense, but now they went ahead and they fired him. So it kind of tells you that, look, there was some piece that you're missing. And I think with what Nick is saying is that it definitely wasn't just that result. Probably there's definitely stuff going on at the back, because he is, like you say, guys, he's got a good CV there. Why do you quickly go fire someone like that? And I mean, those owners have just bought the club. Apparently they're not too sure. I'm not too sure how true those things are. Not too sure about how a soccer club is run, but probably they've obviously got the right people in place, definitely. And like you said, Nick is saying now that these guys are hands-on. So if he's a hands-on guy, he's been there, he's seen how this guy is, and he's definitely probably not liking what he's seeing for a long time. It's not a decision that was just made because of these results. I think many things were happening there.
Post any anything in football, there's always stuff that comes out afterwards. Stuff that we weren't privy to before. The whole thing coming out saying that apparently Todd Boehly said that Tuchel must play 4-4-3, guys. You know what I mean? He must play a 4-4-3 formation. You know what I mean? So already there's things coming out where it was kind of suggested that kind of like Todd Boehly doesn't actually know this in the sport. Yes, I expect him not to know the sport. He's an American businessman.
Yeah.
And then there's things coming out where they're saying that Todd Boehly felt that Tuchel wasn't trying to integrate the academy players into the squad or trying to have a look at them, and not agree, and also not being a part of the transfer strategy. So Todd Boehly wanted to lean on him for a lot of transfer decisions and so on and so forth, but it seems like there was just like that disconnect. But hey, who knows?
But he
Yeah.
Listen, he spent a lot of money, yeah.
A
He
lot.
spent a
The
shitload of
most,
money, bro.
the most in Europe. He spent the most in Europe.
So it will be interesting to see if those were all him. But I can't imagine that this new owner knew anything about players and who to buy. So he had to be advised by someone, and that someone I'm assuming was Tuchel. But if Tuchel really didn't want the players, he wouldn't have played the players, and the new signings have been playing. So
no,
I don't
but
know.
apparently he signed some youngsters. He signed that guy from Aston Villa, Chukub Wayne. I don't know how to say his surname, but him and the young Italian guy from Inter Milan. Todd Boehly signed those two players. They weren't Tuchel signings. Tuchel also didn't get his first options that he wanted. He wanted Rafinha. He wanted Kunde. So those two signings he kind of wanted. He didn't get them at the end of the day. Man, I think the writing was probably on the wall, probably internally. All the rumors that are coming out, obviously this 4-4-3 and all of this other nonsense. But yeah, let's move on to the Premier League. Something a bit more exciting. Nick, obviously, I think because you haven't been on the show for quite some time, I think it's only fair that you can probably give us a little synopsis of your first 6 games and when talking about your fixture against Bournemouth on Saturday.
Yeah, I think if I'm honest with you, it's been very refreshing to see us play as well as we've been playing. I am a little bit disappointed with some of the results. A couple of draws where we've completely outplayed teams, which is refreshing. You can't have everything all at once. So the performances are there at the moment. But unfortunately, the results haven't been as good as we would have liked. I think, we probably deserved more against Wolves. We deserved more against Palace. We were unfortunate. That should be I don't understand how a player can be pushed into his own player. No, an opposing player pushes you into your own player. It hits you, it goes in for an own goal.
And they said,
they disallow it. They say it's for me, I don't know. For me, there I was like, and I've always been for VAR, and I know they're going to make some mistakes, but when I saw that, I was like, guys, are you blind? Like that is only a blind person can't see that. But anyway, so I think we probably short of 4 points where we probably been robbed. I'd say maybe we should be sitting on about 10, maybe comfortably in like the top 7. But the progress is there, and our fixture list is a little bit kinder coming up. Would have been nice to have had the last game against West Ham. I think we would have done well against them at home because they're not in the greatest of form. And I think Bournemouth, it's a welcome game for us. They're in a little bit of not turmoil, but it's not really knowing which direction they're going in. So I think if we can put a performance like we have done against the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Man City, we should get the result. So it's going to be rocking there at St. James's Park, tribute to the Queen this weekend. So I think it will be nice. I think the integration of the new players have been good as well. The improvement of the existing players is also great to see. Nick Pope has been solid at the back. This Isak looks like a player, guys, by the way. 21 years old. Player. I was doing a bit of research on him, his XG, which is chances created. for under 23 players in Europe was third behind Haaland. I don't know who was
That's
second.
very
I
good.
actually can't
It's very
recall.
good.
So they say he's the next best thing coming out of Sweden. Zlatan even made a post saying, "Soon people are not going to be speaking about me as the Sweden legend." So I'm excited that we've got a young, hungry striker. He's got a big price tag. He scored more than Darwin has. So he's even scored at Anfield. So let's see. Darwin hasn't scored at Anfield yet. So I'm excited to see what happens. I think we were conservative in the transfer window. I would have liked one or two more, but I think we'll go again in January. We'll see where we are at. Maybe we need one or two more. We go in there and buy the last sort of pieces of the puzzle for this season, and maybe who knows, we can maybe crack that top 6.
No, but it has been very interesting to see how you guys have integrated the new signings. You know what I mean? I think also the types of signings that you guys made, I think it's also shows that obviously there's a lot of thought going into it, and not just going gun ho and just signing every single player that you can think of, So also signing the right profile of players, Sven Botma and Isak are players who have been on the radars of top 6 sides in the Premier League and other good sides in the rest of Europe. But obviously, I think when the Premier League money comes through, it obviously it blows other competition out the way.
Yeah.
But I think it's also the good type of players that you're signing. You're signing players who are under 25 years old, who need to also prove a point with this current move. And I think it
and
can
that's
only
exactly
go
it. You've got a 29-year-old goalkeeper in Pope, who's still probably got another 6-7 years left in him. Fighting for an England position. I personally think he is better than Pickford. I don't rate Pickford, but I think it should be Ramsdale and Pope fighting for that number 1 spot. But that's just a topic for another day. Then you have, as you say, Isak, who's 21, Botman, who's 22. Those guys are. If Newcastle are going to become the powerhouse, they are going to be they're going to be at the forefront of what happens. You've got a Bruno who's 24. Bruno is sensational for me. And you've got a Maxi who's also 24. You've got Almiron who's in incredible form at the moment. And then when you have Callum Wilson back, whenever Callum Wilson plays, he scores. I know he's unfortunately has this injury record, but whenever he plays, he scores. So good times to come, hopefully. But we need to just get points on the board now and solidify that status of being potential challengers for a top 6, top 7 place.
Okay, no, that's true. That's definitely true. So just in terms of this weekend's fixture, what do you think the scoreline will be, Nick?
Yeah, I think we've been defensively solid. I do think we will get the victory. I'd like to, honestly, Bournemouth's defensive frailties. They've conceded, I think, 12 goals in the last 2 games, 9 and 3, after being 2-0 up at Brentford. So I think we're going to hit them for 4. I think a brace for Wilson, who is apparently back, and a brace for Isak.
Okay.
Is Wilson back? Hectic.
Wonga, what do you think will happen in this game?
Yeah, I think I'm with Nick. I think they'll score a couple of goals. I said 3, but yeah, I think definitely. I would say 3, no, because that's what I said. But yeah, I think Newcastle will climb over these guys. I think they're on form, and I just want to just say it out there. I agree with Nick in the sense that they shouldn't have a loss this season. They should definitely have gotten points against Crystal Palace. And I mean, Man City is Man City. They were unfortunate not to win that, but I mean, you would have played. I mean, the 2 best teams in the league without losing against any of them. I think that would have been great, but unfortunately, VAR have another set of eyes.
That's perfect. Yeah, I think obviously Newcastle at home, a different beast. Should definitely, I think, a 3-0 victory should be on the cards in this game.
I think also, just like if we are wanting to be considered top 7, top 6 type of team, we need to win these games. You can't be.
100%.
You can't. You need to beat a Bournemouth who are probably not good enough to stay in the league. But even if it's a scrappy, conventional 2-0 win or 1-0 win. You just got to get the points on the board.
No, 100%, 100%. And then we're just gonna move to the other game on Saturday at Molineux. Just a prediction for this one. We don't really have to go into too much detail with this one. What do you think the scoreline will be in this one, Nick? With Diego Costa now being signed by Wolves.
Yeah, I was about to say it would have been nice if he could play, but he's got like 3 weeks still. He's got to get fit. But I think it will be tricky. Wolves are decent team defensively, but I think Haaland will have too much. I think they'll win this game 2-0.
Okay.
Man City.
Wonga, what do you think?
Yeah, I said the same thing, and for the same reasons. Because of Haaland, I said 2-0 to Man City.
Yeah, Wolves have had a I'm not saying a bad start to the season. In their last 5 games, or let me say, they've drawn 3 and then they've won 1 and lost 1. So it's not like they're
It's
losing.
like an average start, yeah.
Yeah, it's an average start. It's just obviously they're not converting their chances and so on, and but I think
that was their problem last year as well.
Last
they
season,
didn't score many goals. Yeah,
they don't score many goals. Then they signed this tall striker, and then he gets an ACL injury, so it's unfortunate for them. Let's see what happens, but I think let's say 3-1 victory to Man City in this game, and then Wonga, the match that's in London that's still taking place. I don't know how it's still taking place, but maybe it's because it's just 2 small teams playing to each other. But Wonga, so tell us about this game and the prospects. Obviously, there won't be any Champions League Europa League fixture tonight for Arsenal, so they're going straight into that game without any games for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Arsenal take this. I think I would say 3-0 to Arsenal. I think we'll be too strong for them. I think we've been playing. I think we played against Manchester United. I think we did well. Obviously, the only thing for me, we just didn't get the goals. I mean, and at the end of the day, we lost the tie, unfortunately. But I think Arsenal, for me, have been consistent in the way they've been playing, and it's just now I think it's just time to bounce back and maintain what we have and that's our good position on top of the league. I think that's what Arteta's going to be telling these guys. We have to win this one. It's a must win, and I think we'll do very well, especially with the way the guys are playing right now.
Nick, you haven't been on the show this season. What have you made of Arsenal's start to the season? Obviously, their last game, they lost to Man United at Old Trafford.
Nah, I've got a bit of a soft spot after watching the All or Nothing series for Arteta.
Yep,
I think he's got his head screwed on. I do think last week's game proved that they have frailties at the back still, unfortunately. And I think it's a Brentford team that can score goals. And Ivan Toney in very good form. I do think they'll win the game, but I think it's going to be difficult going away to Brentford. So I think it's going to be a 3-2 win. I think there's going to be goals in the game, but it's not going to be plain sailing for Arsenal because Brentford are going to be up for it. I think last year, this was the first game of the season, if I'm not mistaken, Wonga, and you had lost 2-0. So, I do think they'll be up for it. Hostile crowd, nice compact stadium. And I think if you watch the documentary, these are the games where Arteta came unstuck and was probably the difference between them not getting into the top 4 and then falling out. So I do think they'll win it. I think they've got a bit more steel to them this season. And I think Jesus is probably, if not one of the signings of the season, maybe second behind Haaland. I think Arteta will get the best out of him. But I do think if they are going to mount a challenge potentially for like position 3 or position 2, they need to sort that back line out. It needs to be more consistent. Instead of scoring 3 or 4 goals, winning 1-0. Going back to the old school, 1-0 to the Arsenal term that they used to sing in the early or the late 90s. So yeah, I do think they'll get the win, but it will be a 3-2 win for Arsenal.
Nick, a lot of the commentators and maybe pundits were saying that that Arteta was a bit naive at Old Trafford. I want to bring it up because I think he tried to do too much, whereas he could have just continued with what he was doing in that game, and I think maybe the goal would have come. But then he tried to do too much, and then the shape of the team was not there anymore. He put Martinelli at left wing back and taking off Zinchenko. Where if he just kept that current shape, maybe I think he would have maybe gotten a draw.
It's that same thing, Celo, that I was saying to you, and Pep's seen it this year as well. I don't necessarily think try too much, but when you play against teams that are of a higher level, you need to also be honest enough to lose some battles in the 90 minutes, and that might sometimes be that you don't have much of the ball and you get your shape and your rest defense is in a moment where you do that for 10 minutes just to recalibrate and get into a situation where you refresh to go again and play your style of football. You can't play against the likes of Man United and Chelsea and Liverpool and be completely expansive like Arsenal want to be for 90 minutes. Because it's, with all due respect to them, it's not an Aston Villa, an Everton, or a Bournemouth. Man United, they've been going through their own things over the last couple of seasons, but they still have quality players that can hurt you, and they did hurt them. Obviously there was contentious moments in that game, but at the end of the day, Man United scored 3 goals and they won the game. Was it 3? It was 3 goals. Yeah, 2 goals. 3 goals. 2 goals.
Yeah.
2. 3.
Yeah, it was 3. It was 3. And I think
it was 3.
I
Yeah.
think
Sorry, no, you guys looked at me like I was crazy.
No. I want Wonga to confirm. Wonga must tell me how many goals he saw coming into his net.
No, but I don't know if I'm making sense, and I think
you are.
That word naive, that naivety does show when sometimes, like a typical example is when they played against Newcastle that day. Newcastle were better than them on the field because they wanted the game more. But I think for the first 30 minutes, they could see the storm that Newcastle were bringing. Instead of playing your style of football, just stay compact and take the pressure for 30 minutes.
Exactly.
And frustrate the team. Let them come at you, and the openings will come, and then you go. So I think he's learned a lot from last season, and he's got the points on the board because of that. And I think you'll be disappointed to have lost to Man United, but you'll be ready to get back to winning ways this week.
No, definitely. Wonga, on your side, what do you think the prediction will be for this game? What's the result?
I said 3-0.
3-0.
I'm saying 3-2.
3-2. Yes, Nick. Now make it interesting. It's a London derby, guys. Come on, it's a London derby. I think we get a 2-2 in this game. Ivan Toney is in hot form. So I think Brentford will definitely give us a game on their home patch. The startup team will definitely do best. But
so doesn't like seeing us on top. That's all.
I'm just being honest, man. Just being honest. But
we take it.
Guys, I just wanted to touch on something that because Thomas Tuchel got sacked. It always brings up the matter of who's getting the sack next. I felt there were 3 contenders who were in line to get sacked before Thomas Tuchel. But obviously, I think it's more cutthroat to Chelsea. So, guys, I just want to get your thoughts on the 3 managers that I'm about to mention, guys. Brendan Rodgers, Steven Gerrard, and Frank Lampard. Those 3 managers, guys. Who's getting sacked next, guys? Nick, what do you think of those 3 managers in terms of just their current situation and then let me know who's getting sacked next.
I think just simply because of their current form, number 1 and 2 are very close for me. But just because of their position right now and his words about their owner, and he's been quite outspoken. I think Rodgers just pips Gerrard. I think Gerrard is very close. He's on a tightrope at the moment, and I think those owners. He spent a lot of money in the last 2 windows as well. So I do think Rodgers is probably a couple of losses away from potentially getting the sack, because Leicester are in a relegation battle at the moment. Aston Villa are in a relegation battle at the moment. So yeah, that's a reality. I do think both teams will be fine, but I think Gerrard had his honeymoon phase for like 2-3 weeks, and I think he's won like 2 or 3 games since then or something like that. So
Hey, but that guy's record is like 30% win percentage, man. It's like it's really bad. It's really
he's
bad.
competing with Steve Bruce there.
Yeah, man, it's quite shocking. Wonga, what do you think of the situation in terms of those 3 managers and who's getting sacked next?
Yeah, I think if I have to choose one, I would say that Rodgers goes here.
They've lost the last 5 games. It's crazy.
Yeah, they've lost the last 5 games, and they got hammered the last one. But then again, they also haven't really made. I don't think did they even sign anyone. I mean, they've sold a couple of players.
One player. Signed
Oh.
one defender. Well, they're 2 players. One reserve keeper. A keeper and.
After the Fofana money came in, they could sign. But if that money didn't come in, they weren't going to sign anything.
Yeah,
and then they're going to lose Madison to us there in January. It's fun.
Yo, it's just looking dire. Also, the question is, does Rodgers stay as well? Goodness me. Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at the thing, I think a Brendan Rodgers goes. Can't lie to you.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. No, I agree. I definitely agree with you, Wonga. I think Brendan Rodgers, obviously, I think he's in a worse off situation, not only getting 1 point. I think Frank Lampard, he's fortunate in that it's not that he's not gotten the point. It's just that he's drawn 4 games. He's drawn 4 games out of 6. No wins, 4 games. The only 4 points he has are draws. So I think he still has some leverage to go off. But Gerrard has spent a lot of money and not doing obviously as well. So let's see what happens. But yeah, it brings about some interesting things at play in the Premier League. And just lastly, guys, while the Queen has obviously passed away and so on and so forth, may she rest in peace at 90, whatever. And she's just disturbing our Premier League. Todd Boehly has come out with some ideas of an all-star game, similar to what they do in American sports, in the NBA, and so on, where it would be a certain part of the country against a certain part. So in the Premier League, the suggestion is North versus South. So some of the teams in the North would be your Newcastle, Liverpool, the Manchester clubs would form the North side. Then some of the teams in the South side would be the London teams, your Brightons, your Southamptons as well. So what do you guys think of this idea? Wonga, what do you think of this idea?
I like it. I'm just honest with you. I do like the idea. I think as a supporter as well, you always want to see the best players playing against the other best players. To watch, I think, yeah. I wouldn't like to. I'd do anything to watch that game. Well, not anything, but yeah, I'd try my best to watch the game. That would be. I mean, looking at. I mean, just hearing it and imagining it. That would be one heck of a game to see. I mean, even if you had a world all-star team, never mind just the all-star team in England, but if you had 2 different world-star teams, or if you had maybe the best of Africa play the best of, I mean, if you had the Northern Hemisphere versus the Southern Hemisphere, I mean, yeah, I mean, things like that, I'm in for it. I mean, I'm 100% in for it. But again,
Wow. Okay.
obviously I have no influence on that. But I would like to see something like that.
That's very interesting, Wonga. So who would be the two managers then of this, Wonga? Since you're buying into it, would it be? I guess
So,
in the NBA they have it as the number one in each conference. So the Eastern Conference number one team and the Western Conference number one team from the previous season are the coaches for those teams. I'm guessing then would you want the same? The best
yeah,
North coach. This is the best South coach, basically.
I think that that for me it's fair. If you're going to be choosing the players in the same manner, I think then you choose the coach in the same manner.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Okay.
don't see why not. Why not? I mean, if it's one game, have one or two training sessions, cool, and yeah, go.
Wonga's just happy because Arteta
Go-
would be selected at this point.
Exactly. He was selected to represent the South. Nick, what do you think about this idea?
I don't think it will ever happen, to be honest with you.
Mm.
I think the idea was good. It was to generate money for the pyramid of English football.
Correct.
But I wouldn't say never say never. I just don't see the players or the coaches being too happy about it and the clubs being too happy about it because they go and play an all-star game. Is it one game or they're talking about potentially 2 or 3 games where they have like a bit of a series? Guys, the fixture list is so compact already. I just don't see it unless you do it for like a preseason tournament, but it sort of loses its value then. If it's just going to generate money for the pyramid, potentially the league and the FA could try and push it from that end, but I don't potentially see it happening. I think it'll be a nice spectacle, but there's no legacy. So like in the NBA, there's a legacy with it. If you make the All-Star team, it's like, wow, I'm a 5-time All-Star
Yeah.
team player. It's a big thing. So there's a legacy there. I think for us to really bear the fruits would be if it's been happening over the years. So yeah, I just right now I think with the World Cup year being jam-packed in the middle of it, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Maybe potentially in the next few years. But yeah, I think Todd Bowley has a couple more things to worry about than an all-star team. He needs to acquire points and just focus there for now.
Yeah, no, it's man. I think all these American owners and stuff have these ideas. I think, listen, right, on paper, it makes sense, but at the risk of injury for the players, it's never great. Already in itself, managers and clubs are never happy when their players go on international duty and come back injured. Imagine now Alexander Isak playing for the North team, getting an ACL injury in that
Yeah.
match. You know what I mean?
Imagine.
Yeah, Nick would be mortified. Nick would be crying. But yeah, no, yeah. We've come to the end of the show, and yeah, thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Just final thoughts, gentlemen. Let me start with Nick. What's your final thoughts?
Yeah, it's good to be back on the show, seeing you lads, talking about the Premier League. Excited for this weekend. I know it's filtered down fixture list because of obviously the Queen passing, but I think after this international break, there's going to be football right up until the World Cup, which is exciting. There'll be matches midweek, Champions League obviously slotted in there. So yeah, exciting times. Hopefully my team can carry on with their good form and climb up the table, and I'm sure Wonga will come down to earth very soon.
No.
Wonga, what's your final thoughts there?
Yeah, no, I think pretty much the opposite. I think Arsenal will very happy with the way they've obviously started. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I think after that whole month break will, present its difficulties. But I think, especially with what I'm looking at now, I think the top 4, top 6 will be quite different to what it was last year in terms of positions and maybe 1 or 2 teams. To be honest with you.
Okay. Okay. No, cool. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Would have loved to see your comments in the comment section, but you guys didn't give us any interactions. But that's all good. We'll be
They
back
said load
next week.
shedding, eh? Some of them.
Oh, do you think it's load shedding?
So some of them totally load shedding.
But we will be back next week. Obviously, and with the team as well. And yeah, guys, let's obviously watch the Premier League this weekend in terms of the fixtures. Even though they are watered down a bit, I don't know what I'm going to watch this weekend. But yeah, how do
Black
we
and
end the show
white.
again?
Black and white.
How do we end the show on a Thursday, guys?
You gotta stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Stop it.
3, 2, 1.
Stop it.
No, cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Away.